Hello owners, and welcome to the April edition of the Queensland Thoroughbred Owners Association newsletter. We're coming to you from Eagle Farm for the launch of the Queensland Racing Carnival for 2022, sponsored by TAB. And Ben, some exciting times ahead for the industry.
Yeah, we've just been through the launch, and there's been some great guests here. Emma Freedman hosted, and obviously Lizzie Jelfs was up here as well. We heard from Brendan Parnell and also Tony Partridge from the BRC, and there's a lot to look forward to for the Queensland Carnival this year.
Some big names heading up for the carnival. We've heard Zaki, there's some other names floating around. And
Marzu, yeah.
Marzu. Yep. So, exciting times ahead for what is effectively the richest ever carnival in Queensland. And it's also been a busy month across the state.
Yeah, so a lot of the interest has been obviously down in Sydney with the championships over April and a number of other races. They've had the weather. I think they might have brought it up here at the moment, but hopefully we get some sunshine through the carnival. And there's obviously been a lot of racing across the state as well. We've had the Birdsville Cup this month. We had the Menmatter Race Day down the Gold Coast. There's been some terrific racing across the state, and I hope everyone's backed a winner or got a winner as an owner as well. So as we head into the Winter Carnival and the opportunities across the state.
Yeah, certainly is. And you caught up with Racing Queensland CEO Brendan Parnell for a chat across some of the things we've already spoken about and some other issues.
Yeah, so we've met with Racing Queensland a couple of times this month, but we just wanted to touch on a couple of key points around the off-the-track program, and obviously with the Queensland Carnival coming up. We asked him a couple of questions, and here's Brendan now. Okay, Brendan Parnell, welcome to the program.
It's great to be here, and for all the owners as well too. Hopefully we can give you a useful update.
Well, today we're at the launch of the Brisbane Winter Carnival. You've been in the chair now for quite a few years, been through a couple of winter carnivals. What do you most look forward to during the carnival?
Oh, it's the stars that emerge that you don't probably know at the start of the carnival. Last year we saw the emergence of Zaki, went on to great Group 1 feats in our highest rating race. Incentivise emerged through the Queensland Carnival. So this year, where's the newest star to emerge on the Australian racing scene? And then at the end of the carnival, some amazing meetings. The Ipswich Cup, the most attended meeting of the carnival. And then the Battle of the Bush on Tats Tiara Day, the last Group 1 of the Australian season. And they've come from 16 regional qualifiers to chase the big prize it's overall worth around $400,000 a Battle of the Bush this year.
It's such a great race, that, isn't it? And we covered that off last month in our newsletter. There's some great races across the state, isn't there, that horses can qualify for the Battle of the Bush?
Yeah, 16 qualifiers, and for the first time as part of this carnival, there'll be Fashions from afar, so 16 regional winners of Fashions will come to Brisbane to compete in the big smoke.
Now, we're at Eagle Farm today. Obviously, a lot of questions have been asked over the last sort of 2 years around Eagle Farm. How's it going, and where are we at with Eagle Farm, do you think?
Yeah, we're working closely with the BRC, who are overseeing the management of the track. It's still, firmness remains one of the key issues we're seeking to see improvement in. The track stood up really well with all of the rain in the wet season. You're starting to see the Kaikuyu take hold in the grass profile, and we'll gallop some horses over a Kaikuyu plot in the next week or two before assessing what the long-term options will look like.
Now, while the Winter Carnival is mainly set in the southeast corner, we've got this race, the Archer, on May the 7th for the first time, and there's been some great announcements over the last few weeks with the likes of Crosshaven and Streets of Avalon being announced, and the local horse, Master Jamie, as well. So what do you think about that concept, and where do you think that can go as a race?
Oh, that's really exciting, isn't it? To have Group 1 horses from around Australia come to central Queensland. Next year it'll move to a Sunday, and on a Sunday it'll be afforded more exposure on television. So it'll be a great chance for the Central Queensland Amateur Club to showcase. But a great concept. Year 1, it's had buy-in from some of the biggest owners, some of the biggest stables, and it sets the stage for a brilliant carnival which kicks off after the Queensland Carnival in the southeast. We go to Rocky, Mackay, Townsville, Cairns, and then it finishes with the amateurs in early September.
Now, the one thing that people always ask me, particularly owners, is prize money. We've had some announcements lately, and I know your team's been working quite hard over the last few months, and obviously looking at next year and some of the challenges we might face. Where are we at with prize money in relation to racing in Queensland?
Well, at a carnival level, we're going into the richest carnival in May and June we've ever had. We've recently introduced a prize money increase on the Saturday to the benchmark races, so our minimum prize money on a Saturday is now $75,000. Minimum listed is $130,000, and then back in January we announced the investment growth plan, so grassroots big prize money increases. We're not there. We have a continual strive to grow that, and we'll work closely as we renew some of our funding agreements with the Palaszczuk government and our own commercial endeavours to see how much more we can reinvest in the future.
So another question that comes across my desk quite regularly today is the off-the-track program. And I know that you've been heavily invested in that, being on the board and working with quite a number of people in relation to that. This month we're going out with a survey to owners, sort of getting a bit of an understanding about what they know about the off-the-track program and their sort of take on it, get some great feedback. But what would you like to say to people out there that have had some feedback, bad feedback, good feedback, whatever it is, about the off-the-track program? Because it is really hard to manage, isn't it?
Well, when you set up a new program, you've got to set it up and have the right decision processes to make sure that the money is genuinely going to the right cause. There's a range of really exciting initiatives. Among the large ones, there's an Acknowledged Retrainers program. So this is where we accredit retrainers and they take over the job of rehoming horses. And in our first year, we've got a very similar number to what Racing Victoria had in its first year. That's the biggest investment in the program. Some $700,000 per annum will go that way. There's an Acknowledged Retrainers program supported by a subsidised lessons program, which has been great. We've had hundreds of thoroughbreds and standardbreds that wouldn't otherwise have had a home to go to going into that program. And more recently, we've announced a grants program. So you'll see growing expenditure around the state. But the Acknowledged Retrainers are as far north as Garnet, up through the Wide Bay and out on the Darling Downs. So it's starting to see great traction happening now. It will always be a key priority for us, is focusing on that lifetime care after they finish in racing.
And with 14,000 odd owners in regional Queensland, it's really important that both Racing Queensland and us as the Owners Association are able to use something like the newsletter as educating people along the way. And I think over the next couple of months, we'll continue some of that education around the off-the-track program. Speaking of education, a big one around regional Queensland and obviously the opportunity to set up a potential education hub, if you like, around North Queensland. Where's that at? Is it progressed any further? We're talking about jockeys, stable hands, other parts of the industry. Has that progressed any further?
It has. It's actually a live topic with our board at the moment, is the Future Training College. So we're a registered training organisation. So part of that will be twofold. Firstly is a diversification of the different courses that someone can do to get a career. Maybe it's in horticulture, maybe it's in track work riding, maybe even as a jockey. We're seeing great numbers in the southeast. The second and important part you touched on, Ben, is how do we regionalise that? And that's the part of the strategy we'll be talking to our board about in coming weeks and when we're ready to advise the industry. But the plan will be more courses and also with a regional focus. The issue parts of the state will always remain the northwest and and those regions, because they're only racing for a certain time of the year. There's not a regular job that someone can do in racing. So how do we best service those areas? Because the scratching numbers there are high because of jockey shortages, whereas nearer the coast it's a lot better.
Well, no doubt you've got a really busy job, Brendan, and thank you for your time today. And I hope you enjoy the Winter Carnival as much as all the owners do, and hope you're back a winner.
Thank you, Ben.
Cheers.
Yeah, well, great to hear more from Brendan there. Thanks for Brendan for giving up his time, and great to hear about some of those range of different topics, and no doubt watch this space in the coming weeks and months there. Also caught up with Nathan Exelby from the BRC and Sky Channel just to talk through some of the key components to this year's Queensland Racing Carnival. Okay, well, we're here with Nathan Exelby from the BRC for the launch of the Queensland Racing Carnival, highlighted by Stradbroke season. And Nathan, great day out, some big names here attending the launch, and it's great that the carnival's upon us.
Yeah, it comes up very quickly, Adam. It doesn't seem that long ago that we were just looking at horses from last year, wondering how they go in the spring. Well, we saw what they did. They all came out and won a mountain of feature races. So we're anticipating the same this year, and starting with Guineas Day on April 30.
Yeah, how good. And there's already, even prior to the official launch of the carnival, there's already been some good racing, some black type racing. But just talk us through the carnival. What are the highlights of the carnival this year? Obviously, there's been a few different tweaks and changes.
Yeah, I guess the marquee figure this year is the fact that there's now 7 individual races worth $1 million or more here during Stradbroke season and the Queensland Racing Carnival. The Derby goes to $1 million and the Doomben Cup as well. And I guess Derby Day has been the big change in recent times. The Derby shifted from Stradbroke Day to have its own marquee day. Brisbane Racing Club and Racing Queensland deemed that a race of the prestige of a Derby deserves its own day. And so what that facilitated was the Derby comes forward 2 weeks in the calendar, and then by putting the Q22, the old PGA O'Shea, to a $1.2 million race, you then get the opportunity for horses through the Oaks and the Derby then to possibly take on the older horses in a kind of a weight for age championship race at the end of the carnival. So that's been the big change. It didn't sort of work out that way last year. None of the Derby horses went on, but Zaki probably scared them off a little bit last year.
No
and
doubt.
we're certainly not complaining. The fact that the Q22 was worth that money last year kept him here in Queensland for an extra 3 weeks, which was great.
Yeah, and speaking of big names, he's one of the big names that'll be up here.
It's not usual, I guess, to get the horse like him. A horse like him normally comes here before they're really well known and then goes off to do different things afterwards, and we don't get them back. So to have him coming back for the Hollandale and also the Doomben Cup is terrific news for the carnival. He's a horse that you can really hang your hat on and promote as a genuine superstar of our sport. So we're just looking forward to seeing him come back and possibly whether he can go back-to-back in those 2 races and pick off a new bonus that was announced last week.
Yeah, well, some exciting times ahead for the carnival, and also exciting some things that you guys here at the BRC have been doing online, which is very sort of, I guess, owner-focused, telling owners' stories and behind-the-scenes vision of owners celebrating wins and telling more of that side of the story.
Well, you pioneered that, Adam. You're the first man in the market there. But no, what we're trying to do at the BRC is showcase Brisbane racing, and more so than just the normal trainer interviews, to try and capture some of that excitement, which owners know all too well, that great feeling. So whether it be a strapper that's thoroughly just ecstatic seeing the horse that they love win a race, or a group of owners celebrating together, they're the sort of images that are great to sell our sport to a wider audience, and that's what we try and do.
Yeah, well, it's great to see. I'm sure the owners love it too, and exciting times ahead for the Winter Carnival. So thanks for your time.
No, my pleasure. Thanks for talking to me.
Okay, well, it's great to hear more from Nathan about the carnival itself, and Ben, it's a busy month ahead for the industry in general.
Yeah, well, obviously the Queensland Carnival runs from the 30th of April through to the 11th of June, with Stradbroke on the 11th of June and a number of other Group 1s on that day. So really looking forward for that period. And we cover off on so many areas in southeast Queensland with this carnival. Obviously races at Eagle Farm and Doomben, but we also get to the Gold Coast with the Gold Coast Cup, out to the Ipswich with the Ipswich Cup, and Sunshine Coast with the Sunshine Coast Cup and the Wing Skinnies up there as well. So it's a full coverage of over the next couple of months of southeast Queensland. But we also have racing that touches just about everywhere across the state now. So and Rockhampton Jockey Club and the Rocky Amateurs are obviously looking forward to their big day on the 7th of May as well, with the running of the inaugural Archer. And over the last couple of weeks, we've heard a number of horses on the back of Apache Chase and a number of other horses being nominated. We've got Hollyfield, Streets of Avalon, and Crosshaven that's been recently named. So we're looking forward to seeing that race and where that can go. I think as Brendan touched on in his segment, it'll go to a Sunday next year, so it doesn't clash with the likes of the Gold Coast Cup, but really looking forward to that. We also have races at Emerald, the NAIDOC races, which is NAIDOC week, which is really good. As we move into July, we'll have the Rockhampton Cup, the Mackay Cup, and the Bundy Cup coming up as well. So encourage people to get out to regional races, out to the country races, and support those big days, because they are really good for the industry.
Yep, well, there's certainly plenty happening on the track throughout the next month. And Ben, just off the track, just talk us through how membership's going with the QTOA.
Well, every month it gets bigger and bigger, and I'm glad to say that was over 50 trainers that signed up over the last month, which has been great in a relationship we're building with the ATA, the Australian Trainers Association. So we want to work a lot closer with those guys and work together on better outcomes. But I think overall, we're just over 400 members, I think, that signed up, which is a significant amount of members that compared to what they've had previously over, 5 years ago and things like that. So there are 25,000 owners out there. For us to make change, we probably need a significant number more. So we encourage people to sign up. You can sign up for free, or you can sign up to our full members for $99. And for that, you get a seat at the table. So essentially, that is a really important topic for us. We want to be able to talk to Racing Queensland and government about key issues for the trainers, and we can't be relevant until we actually get big numbers. So if you're reading this or you're seeing this for the first time, I encourage you to get online on qtoa.com.au, sign up as a member, and help us make some change.
Yeah, sure. So gathering momentum is a really key component to the association and the work that you're doing. So
for us, we want to be able to have a seat at the table, as I said, and have the conversations. And to do that, we need significant numbers.
Okay. Well done to everyone that's come on board, and great to hear that trainers are also supporting supporting
100%.
the association. And that's about the news for this month. So stay tuned for next month's update.